Salute. Welcome to the chat show. Trade D-Day reactions live on the streets of buzzing. Appreciate you for joining. Salute to the chat. Geraldine here. Drew, Mav. Salute, guys. Ladies and gents. It goes down in a matter of an hour and a half from here. New York Knicks, obviously, against the clock. We see some big deals already been made. We're going to talk about it. And of course, the big deal, the Woj bomb just dropped minutes ago with Philly and Brooklyn. What were your thoughts on that? Yeah, Mav, let's enjoy these last few, hoping our Knicks do something, yep, for real. And I salute Drew. Either that or Leon is sleeping again. Hey, no doubt they're working the phones feverishly right now. Not a whole lot of talk on the Knicks today, but we know what the situation is right now. The New York Knicks are trying to offload some vets, see where they can get involved with the Kemba Walker, Alec Burks, Evan Fournier, Nerlens Noel deal. It's a tall task to move on from some of these deals at the moment, but let's see what Leon can do. I'm going to pull up the Twitter feed. And we can follow along. Live reactions going to go all the way up until the deadline. This is the chat show. We shout you out. We keep a 100. Healthy Knicks talk. And we see the newest pairing in the East. Joel Embiid now. James Harden. What are your thoughts on that deal? Philly included a couple of first round picks. That was crazy to see. I can't believe they had to do that, but no, to get the deal done, it's about damn time. We've been hearing about this for a long time, and and Twitter just went off. Chris Haynes now reporting Brooklyn will take its time getting Ben Simmons acclimated, but the star guard welcomes a change of scenery and has already had convos with KD, and they're all on the same page. Okay, let's see how much Ben Simmons was, putting on that front, and just seeing how he's going to be able to suit up and play this season. Drew, I feel like it's been awfully quiet. Deadline, is that just you? No, I think the last 24 hours have been pretty quiet. You see the odd leak here and there, but relation to the Knicks, we probably the biggest two leaks recently. Mike Scotto revealed that the Knicks were involved in a three-way discussion with the Lakers and the Raptors, which would send out Alec Burks, Cam Reddish to the Lakers. The Knicks would receive Goran Dragic's expiring deal and potentially Kendrick Nunn and some picks. And Nerlens Noel would go out to Toronto. But more recently, Ian Begley, later said that talks had stalled on that. So we hadn't really heard much since then. Was not in favor of that deal at all. I'm glad, hopefully talks have stalled on that, Drew, and chat, because no, that didn't look like a good deal for us at all, right? Especially when you're trying to reroute Cam Reddish again. Like, what was the point of that? There was just no point. Salute, brother. Yep, you were waiting on this trade deadline for helping us, but that was an unbelievable trade by the Sixers. Crazy talk right now. And Spurs just traded for Josh Richardson. Yeah, that was one of their targets, in exchange for Derek White. Not surprised with that one. I don't really know what the Spurs are trying to do with getting Josh Richardson, but that's an interesting look. Thanks for that, Drew. We'll continue to follow every single trade, shout you guys out. The New York Knicks, this is D-Day for Leon Rose and this ball club, right? They made these moves that have been heavily criticized. Now it's their chance to make something of them, right? Repair some of those mistakes that were made. It's going to be interesting to see what kind of spin, right, guys and ladies, that they put on it. They made these moves, and a lot of these contracts are proving to be difficult to be traded from what we're hearing so far. And the rumblings and that aren't really too loud right now. Could deals always come about in the very last minute, of course, but I don't know what's going to happen in this next hour and 20 odd so minutes. But we're all going to be watching eagerly and following. And yeah, Drew, the other situation right now is the Miles Turner, the New York Post, Mark Berman report that the New York Knicks' interest is still there for Miles Turner. And Indiana, we know, are blowing things up, right? They traded away Sabonis. There's reports Brogdon's going to be on the block in the summer. And Miles Turner, the New York Knicks have had their eye on him for the best part of 2 seasons now, right? Do I think we'll get Miles Turner? If the New York Knicks, obviously their backs to the wall right now, Drew, for the sake of doing a deal, I could see them being heavily aggressive. I could put it as a 50-50 chance right now, just because, the New York Knicks front office want to do something. They don't want to be left, high and dry, so to speak, with some of these contracts that are undesirable, that they don't want to keep around right now. And we know Miles Turner's injured. He's nursing that stress reaction as well. So that's going to be interesting. I'm glad you put that one out there. That is a high target for the New York Knicks, Miles Turner, for this trade deadline, reported by the New York Post most recently this morning. We all saw that. And Woj just tweeted that the Nets are not done as well making trades. That's going to be something else to watch. And let's not forget about the buyout market too, guys. The buyout market's going to be something to watch too. Kemba Walker, not too confident the Knicks are going to be able to move on from Kemba, unless it's a bigger deal. Right? I don't see anybody lining up to take Kemba Walker right now. So that's going to be interesting to see moving forward. What are your thoughts on Kemba Walker? Let me know, because to get a second round pick or to get something for Kemba Walker would be perfect. If not, it's a buyout. We're headed straight for the buyout market with Kemba Walker. But yeah, the Celtics acquiring Derek White in exchange for Josh Richardson as well. Yeah, and Drew has a feeling that the Knicks will buy out Kemba as well. Yeah, that's looking like the most likely situation right now. But yeah, just recapping the latest trade. Yeah, the Celtics received Derek White, the Spurs received Josh Richardson, and a first round selection as well. So that's interesting. And we pull up the lineups for Brooklyn and Philly. The new look lineups. Yeah, we got obviously Kyrie Irving, still a part-time player as of now. Waiting for he's hopeful that there'll be a change in the mandate. But obviously they acquire Seth Curry as part of the deal, which slots in there at the 2 spot. Ben Simmons next to KD, LaMarcus. James Harden gets what he wants, into a new team, new environment with Joel Embiid. What does that say about the Brooklyn Nets culture? Not a very good culture. James Harden wasn't happy. He was pushing for this, and he made it happen as well, right? I'm just glad finally, we could actually move on from this and watch some basketball, because this Simmons drama has been carrying on for way too long, right? And I'm happy more for Joel Embiid as well, someone who's been laying it out there, waiting for this move to happen. And there you see Philly's lineup. You got Tyrese Maxey in there in the 2 spot now. Tobias Harris, they've still been trying to move on from his money. That's good luck to them trying to move on with that. So that's going to be very interesting now. The East is shaken up, but all eyes on the New York Knicks. What can we do, fellas and ladies? What can we do? Kemba Walker's the biggest elephant in the room at the moment. Either bought out or he's going to be part of a package. Question from Drew: which is the vets is Leon going to move? Most likely vets are going to say is Kemba Walker's going to be off the roster. He's definitely going to be off the roster by the next week. He'll probably be bought out within a day of not being traded. So Kemba Walker won't be on the roster. I feel like Alec Burks probably has the most value out of the contract, Drew. Guys, Alec Burks earning $10 million. Yeah, there's got to be a contender out there that could make use of Alec Burks. So my prediction is Alec Burks gets moved this morning, or today, rather this afternoon, and I feel like Nerlens Noel as well will get moved as well. So Evan Fournier might be more of the summer. His $19 million is going to be tricky. It's going to be challenging to move. And salute to the man. Appreciate you, Ron. Let me know if you want to jump on. I'll drop you the link for my guy, man. We could chop this thing up. Salute to everyone watching the chat, streaming live on Twitter and YouTube right now. Breaking this Philly deal down. The New York Knicks, all we hear is Jiminy Crickets right now. Let's hope that's because all the phone lines are taken up, right? Because they're calling everyone around the league, trying to take some of this mess off our hands, right? Not a fan of that reported deal with Goran Dragic. I'm definitely going to want a couple second-round picks if that's the case. Give me a couple a couple first-round picks. What am I saying? Yeah, and I'm not a fan of moving on Cam Reddish as well. Moving on with Cam Reddish so soon, that'd just be a waste. A waste of that trade that we felt so good about, earlier this season, right? Geraldine, tell me what you guys want to do, what you want to do today, and what you hope to see. A salute to Vaughn. Salute. Who do I want today? Great question, Vaughn. I'd rather be happy with just moving on with most of these vets and try to get some young pieces up in here. And Dragic is gone, so yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see. But yeah, Vaughn, I'd love to move on from Kemba, Burks, Noel, and Fournier if possible. Maybe get back a stopgap point guard. I'd love to get Malcolm Brogdon. I don't know if he's available right now. Obviously the Knicks are resisting interest from Mitchell Robinson. For Mitchell Robinson right now, Mitch is having himself a season, and he's probably one of our most in-demand trade chips as well. So would I be shocked if Mitch gets traded this afternoon? No, I would not. I think it's a real possibility. If a great offer comes to the table for Mitchell Robinson, which can help us, move on from a contract or two, and get a nice pick or a piece back. I think the New York Knicks are entertaining that. Definitely, there's high interest from Detroit right now. Scott Perry has a lot of ties with Detroit, so that's going to be really interesting to see. Yeah, who would you like to see us get, Vaughn? Are you more on the train of getting these vets out of here, or are you more on the train of a particular type of player that you would like to get in here? It's going to be really, really interesting. And hey, we have DeJounte Murray put out a tweet saying, "What the fuck?" So DeJounte Murray's put out a tweet that could just be in relation to Derek White, the Derek White trade. But that's going to be real interesting. I'll pull this up now. You got DeJounte Murray tweet this out. That could be in relation to one of his players getting traded. Let's see. And we've got Ramona Shelburne. Yeah, Ben Simmons ends up in New York on a team he fits great on, with the chance to compete for the chip. So that's going to be a lot of pressure on Simmons now. He finally gets what he gets, and I'm gonna drop the link right now, and let's get into it. Geraldine, salute. I don't know if the Knicks do anything, but if they do, it's going to be for someone we don't want. I got to think positive, Geraldine. With this next hour and 15 minutes, as the clock ticks down on Leon Rose's tenure on his second season in charge, I better hope that we're in a better position than that. I've just got to have more faith. But rest assured, we're going to definitely go all in and critique critique all of this, in the debrief, in the breakdown of this situation, right? May the Fourth salute. Pretty risky for Nets. Simmons clearly stated he wants to play in Cali. Yeah, definitely, the backs against the wall was Philly. So, they had to do something. And let me pull up the one, the only, Mr. Man.
CT, what's going on with your partner?
What's good? What's good?
Man. This rough, man. This is rough.
Phew.
This
What
feel
did he
this
got?
feel this deja vu.
Oh, man. Feel like
So,
we've been here, yeah, every
so,
day.
so tell me how you feeling, man. How you feeling right now?
I'm keeping the faith. I'm keeping the faith for this next 1 hour and 15 minutes. We're going to do something. I don't know whether it's going to be a great move, but it's going to be the necessary, I feel like. What about
Yeah,
you?
I tell you, CT, where I'm at, man. I'm at a level. Hey, I'm at on high alert status, man. Right now, you know what I mean? It's just like I've been trying to be patient with this front office, man. This is year two. You know what I mean? This ain't year
Facts.
one. You know what I mean? And when somebody when they show you who they are, you gotta trust to believe that's what they are. You know what I mean? Everything has been on the table, man. We've been watching this since last year, how this front office operate. Sometimes the things you don't say speak volumes. And just looking
Facts.
at how everything transpiring right now with this team is pathetic. It's pathetic, and I'm willing to bet if I was a gambling person, man, Leon Rose keep this up. Leon Rose ain't gonna make his whole contract.
Yep.
He's not gonna make his whole contract, man, because some of the stuff they're doing right now, you're seeing a lot of backpedaling. Like when I saw the reports that they're trying to move off of Cam, I'm like,
Oh,
are
man.
you serious? You just traded for this guy. You gave up a first round pick and a first round player that you drafted in Kevin Knox to get Cam, and you don't even play this guy to find out really what you got in him. And now you trading him, and then look what they were going to get back, Goran Dragic. Oh man, I'm telling you, I think Mr. Dolan made a major mistake in hiring these guys, man, because you went and got some novice guys that ain't never been in this position. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And it's showing, and it's showing by the stuff that they're doing. You know,
And man,
you go out. We need a point guard, and we get breaking news that you hiring somebody else to the front office. You, it's crazy. And then you look at what they were reporting that we looking to trade for. You looking at Karis LeVert, um, Harrison Barnes, and what's the other kid? It was three. Oh, CJ McCollum, at a position that you don't need. You need a
yeah,
point guard, and anybody that can defend what Leon Rose is doing right now, something is wrong, man. You can't defend this. You can't defend this. The Knicks' biggest problem, and has been their biggest problem, has been the point guard position. And I thought about this. CT, remember when the draft came around and the Knicks were linked to, numerous point guards?
yep.
Everybody who knew the Knicks were trying to get a point guard ahead of us took the guys that we were looking at. You know what I mean? Even when you think about Boat Night, the Knicks were looking at him. What Michael Jordan do? And they didn't even need a point guard. You know what I mean?
And then opportunity to get Halliburton
Yeah,
to
yeah.
get
You
involved in that thing.
twice you had the opportunity to get him, and then you look at the situation even with Atlanta with Trey Mann. He was somebody that was reportedly rumored. You know what I mean? Atlanta went and got him. So it's like everybody's like, okay, we know in basketball the most important position on the floor in professional basketball is that point guard position. And if you don't have one, you look at the teams that struggle is because they don't have a point guard 9 times out of 10, or they have a point guard and don't have really nothing else. But it's really an outlier that a team have a good point guard and ain't pretty good. You know what I mean? Even when you look at the situation with Dame over there in Portland, you know what I mean? They had a pretty good run. Why? Because of Dame.
Yep.
and parts around him. You know what I mean? So the thing is, until we get that point guard position right, man, this is going to be a problem, an ongoing problem. And I'm not enamored with what Julius Randle been doing these past few games. Like I said, he doing that away from the world's most famous arena. Show me what you can do when you go in Madison Square Garden, because we see the proof. He struggles at home, and that's concerning. That's why you move off of him. So tell me how you feeling, man. What you been thinking about?
Yeah, man, I want to mention Geraldine's comment too. The latest talk, Miles Turner, a position that's not really of need, as well, right? What are they doing with that? We need to get off of some of these contracts. What would impress me, Ron, today if they were able to move Fournier's contract for a positive, that would impress me, but I don't think it's happening.
You know what it is? Is Leon Rose is being cheap. I think the guy can be moved. I don't think he's giving up what people trying to ask for in order to take that deal, because it was reported they were close to moving him, even sending him to. As much as I wouldn't have liked C.J. McCollum on this team, I think C.J. McCollum, at least defensively wise, he ain't great to talk about, but he's a better defender than Evan Fournier, and definitely a better scorer. But the problem there is C.J. McCollum injury history. But you see what I'm saying? So really, the Knicks really, they made a mistake with them contracts they signed in the offseason. They brought back the wrong people, man. And if you wanted to really make a statement after the season we had, that's the time you go ahead. If you're gonna go for it, you put in all your chips. You don't sit there and come back basically with the same team you had while other teams around you are getting better. Because I'm here to tell you, yesterday Indiana just surpassed us. Indiana just got better than us yesterday.
Facts. It's scary too. We're sitting still right now in an arms race, like you say.
Yeah, man.
Like we're asleep at the wheel.
Yeah.
These guys are supposed to be connected, Ron. Why are we paying World Wide West all these millions of dollars to do what? Get us Kemba Walker?
Don't even know what he does. It's crazy, CT, because like I was thinking about that too, and this was another thing that caught my attention. It's like that Halliburton was like the last draw for me, man. I'm just like, this is when I'm like, I'm out on this front office. I don't have no confidence in them. You know what I mean? You mean to tell me if I'm in the GM office, right? I'm one of the guys that's looking to make a decision, and I know we need a point guard, and I go to Sacramento and I ask about De'Aaron Fox, and the team said, no, we're not gonna get there. You can't have De'Aaron Fox. Am I to believe that they didn't have no conversations about Halliburton? That his name didn't even come up, that they didn't count it and say, well, hey, we keeping De'Aaron, but we'll trade you Halliburton.
Man,
do you think that possibly didn't happen?
I hope not. I hope not.
But what's even more concerning about that, and the reason why I asked you that, because they got a report out saying that Halliburton trade caught them off guard. There's a report out there saying that they got caught off guard. That tells me you're not doing your job. How many people they got in the front office? Because I remember you had the conversation. You were saying there's reports out that there's so many people with their hand in the cookie jar with too much voice, saying this and saying that about who they want. And I remember telling you that's a bad situation waiting to happen. You got to have one voice.
Yeah, and let me ask you: Do you want us to push Randall out of here ASAP? Are you waiting for the summer? What are you doing?
I wanted Randall gone months ago. I'm at the point, like I told you, man. I'm just at the point where I'm ready to see something that we haven't seen since Patrick Ewing, and it explains why the New York Knicks have been having a problem for so many years. Is because we've not addressed the rebuild properly. We get into a rebuild and then they want to pivot. And all this falls at Leon Rose's feet, man, because there's no excuse. You had all the ammunition, you had draft picks, you had money, but you went and got players. You drafted young players, but then you went and got old players, and the biggest mistake he made was getting Tom Thibodeau. For as much as Tom Thibodeau did last year, and I appreciate the 1 year, the one shining moment, so to speak, but Tom Thibodeau is not the guy for a young team. And you didn't commit to the guy to make this a true veteran team fully. So really, this fall in Leon Rose's lap. This is malpractice 101 from the front office. You want to screw up a team, this is what you do. Follow their blueprint. Now you gave Nerlens Noel that big contract. Nobody wants to touch. And I won't say so much as big, but it's big when you can't get on the floor. You know what I mean? When you're not available, and now you got a guy, Mitchell Robinson, who deserves a contract. You can't pay him because you can't tie your money up to two centers. You can't tie that up. So you hoping that you get somebody to take Nerlens Noel deal. It's a lot of mistakes this front office have done, man. And I don't know if people. I think one day I'm gonna just write down everything that I've seen that they mistake blunders after blunders. Think about the Alfred Payton situation. We cut Alfred Payton, and then we brought him back. And when we brought him back, we had to give him a no trade clause to bring him back.
Man, Scott Perry making some moves.
Man, you can't make this stuff up, CT. You can't make it up, man. But Julius Randle, I'm past Julius Randle, and the main reason why is, oh, now you ready to talk to the media, or now you ready to act like a team player, when you basically sabotage our whole season. Your actions have sabotaged this season. You didn't come in this season with the right mindset. Because if anybody, I'm gonna tell you, CT, and I knew you heard me say it. I was like, man, I would hate to play the Knicks. When I still had that show, I was like, man, I would hate to have to play the Knicks next year. The way we got embarrassed in the playoffs, Julius Randle got embarrassed. I just knew he was gonna come out this year like a madman. But instead, he came out content, like he won a championship, like the team won a championship, and that's concerning for me. Amongst all the other antics that he's done this year, you know what I mean. And the last draw for me, man, was that situation with that coach. You got to go, partner. You got to go.
Yep.
No excuse for that.
Everyone's making moves. James Harden now in the division still opts into his $43 million extension now, so he's set. Philly's locked up.
So Philly got him?
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
Well, there goes Brooklyn.
Yep. Brooklyn got Simmons, Seth Curry, and now it's our division's stacked, Ron. Our division's crowded.
Philly just got better. Brooklyn, I think, took a step back. I mean, I like the Ben Simmons deal for them, but what are they going to do with Kyrie Irving? Does that signal they're going to trade Kyrie Irving? You think?
Yeah, I think so. It's on the cards. I think in the maybe in the summer, because they can't deal with this part-time situation, right? If you're trying to compete for a chip, I mean, you got to get out from that.
And you know who I can see trading for him?
Don't say it.
You already know what I'm thinking, because it's so Knicks. It's the so Knicks thing to do, man. And this is what Leon Rose and Worldwide West, they like big names, man. They want big name players.
Yeah, Khalid, good comment. Every year we look at the trade deadline, nothing happens. We look into free agency, nothing happens. And then in the draft, we hope for top picks, nothing happened.
I'm gonna tell you, and I'm gonna go ahead and say this. And you know, it's really dawning on me since you just said what you said about, you know, every year the comment what Khalid just said. Tom Thibodeau is being sabotaged either directly or indirectly. He's being sabotaged. And if I was Tom Thibodeau, I would quit. I would quit.
Wow.
And I'm gonna tell you why I would quit. Because everybody knows Tom is a win now coach, veteran laden type coach. You know what I mean? So the thing is, you got this guy with a team that don't even fit his timeline of what he likes to do. You know what I mean? And you know who ultimately gonna fall first?
Yep.
Tom is gonna be sacrificed.
Yep. We have another deal. The Pacers finalized the trade to send Torrey Craig to the Suns for Jalen Smith and a future second round. So some
I'm gonna,
moves being
I'm gonna tell you, CT.
set up.
I was sitting there thinking too, like 30 teams in the NBA, and the New York Knicks can't trade with one team for a point guard to run this team. 30 teams.
we we need that addressed ASAP, right? Get me Malcolm Brogdon.
Yeah,
You know?
somebody said you can't trade for him until the end of the season. That's what I heard, and I don't know why, but I heard somebody say that. And I don't know how true it is, but Malcolm Brogdon is somebody I would love to have on this team. His problem, another person that can't stay healthy. Heck, at this point, I tell you like this: I'll take John Wall. I'll take John Wall for the rest of the season because I think doesn't his contract run out at the end of the season?
Yeah, I think it's got 2 more. I think maybe 2 more.
You know what I mean? You're not going anywhere without a point guard, man. And at least John Wall been sitting. He been healthy. You know what I mean? He been resting for a long time. So
we're hearing crickets.
Yeah, they putting all their hope and trust in Derrick Rose. And no knock on Derrick Rose. I love Derrick Rose. Game, his heart, his effort, his energy. But Derrick Rose is at that point in his career where his body is starting to betray him too, man. You know what I mean? He got a lot of miles on them wheels.
Yep.
And if we sitting here and that's what they're holding their hopes on, thinking we can catch lightning in the bottle again this year, it ain't happening. Teams in the East have gotten better. From the first game of the season, we seen that the East, that first week, we like, oh, the East ain't what it was last year. Matter of fact, you can argue right now the Eastern Conference is better than the Western Conference.
Absolutely. You look at Indy, like we said, salute 19 con man, building the young talent. They got Halliburton and Duarte backcourt now. Meanwhile, we have a young backcourt that we're not really prioritizing. And I hope, Ron, if we get something out of today, we trade Alec Burks, right? He cannot continue to clog up the point guard spot.
Yeah, Alex Burks, he needs to go more than anything because that'll force Tom to have to play Deuce McBride at that point guard position. And that would be the craziest thing is like, because I look at Deuce McBride games and everything about him scream a complete ball player. And I know people say, well, he in the G League, he doing that in the G League. You know what I mean? But I don't forget the game he had against Houston. You know what I mean? 16 points, 9 assists, 0 turnovers, and 4 steals. You know what I mean? That was against Houston. But when I look at Deuce McBride, man, and I know the guy's gonna play defense, and that's a major problem for us, man. We can't stop anybody on the perimeter. The only person that can stop somebody on that perimeter really is Grimes.
Facts.
Grimes, and then RJ, got decent defense. He's not bad at all. He's pretty good actually. I like RJ's defense. But at that point of attack, at that point guard position, Alex Burke can't stop nobody. Constantly goes under the screen. Him and Kimba. That's your major problem. And then you got Evan Fournier in that starting. Well, you got Evan Fournier in that starting lineup, and Evan, he constantly getting beat with people going back door on him. His lateral movement is terrible on the defensive end. Like his foot is in cement.
Oh man, absolutely. We regress defensively.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's why I think Tom Thibodeau's in trouble because
he's
stubborn. You got RJ Barrett getting injured, being left on the floor in a blowout. Like, come on.
Yeah, now that right there really teed me off, and I know they're saying that he's doubtful for the night. I don't know if anything changed between the time I saw that last article and now, but they were saying that he's doubtful.
Yep, facts. He is doubtful. So I think sit him out, right? There's no need to risk that, right? This season's going downhill.
Tim's excuse, I was trying to make a run. Oh my goodness. Man. You trying to win. Man, the game was over. We were down like 17.
Treating us like fools with that question,
I mean, even my little grandson that's about to be a year old would know better than that. But look at Tim like he crazy. You trying to win with 17 minutes left. I mean, 17 with up down 17 with a minute left, and RJ gets hurt. That's crazy. But what really teed me off in that game, CT? I like that was a perfect opportunity for him to see what he had in McBride even more, because it was clear early on that we was not going to win that game. We had three people out. No Grimes, no Nerlens, no Ellen, no Mitch.
Yep.
But who you tried out there? You tried out Kimball Walker
Oh
and Alex
man.
Burks to be his backup. If you was gonna play Kimber, you should have had McBride. That was a perfect game for McBride to come right behind Kimber, because that's what I was envisioning this season anyway. It was like one of them guys was gonna, after you saw how McBride had looked early on, the training camp and everything. I was like, okay, this young fella here is gonna take somebody's spot. You know what I mean? Because but Tom liked defense. The guy plays defense, and he's a team first player. He's not a selfish ball player. When he's on the court, the ball's going to move. And please, I'm going to tell you this right now, CT. I had to get to this guy. A lot of people ain't going to like what I'm getting ready to say, but I'm going to say it anyway. Get Quickly out of here.
Oh.
Get him out of here. Trade him up out of here. Trade him up out of here. Trade him up out of here. If he's going to be what they're trying to trot out at point guard, we'll never win anything.
Yeah.
All Quickly does is dribble the air out the basketball, take bad shots. Take bad shots.
Yeah, he's regressed this season.
Seriously, and I hate when I hear people say, well, it's because Derrick Rose is out. Derrick Rose ain't gonna always be around to hold his hand.
Facts.
You see what I'm saying? If you got to rely on a player to make you good, I don't want you on this team. And Quickly decision making a lot of time. A lot of these games we've lost, if people watch these games and be honest in their heart, being honest with what they're seeing with their eyes, Quickly has killed some times when we was on runs to win games. Take an ill-advised shot. And it's at some point when you do it so much, that's who you are. It's not, but he got to learn to take. You shouldn't have to learn to take a good shot. What is a good shot and what's a bad shot? It's common sense. It's common sense, man.
Yeah. You know what? He's been given a free rein, a free leash by Tom, and it's clear that he favors people, Ron. Got
Yeah.
some players with the longest leash and some players with no leash.
Yeah, man.
That's how you lose. That's how you lose the locker room.
Absolutely, man. I Quickly is just one of them players, man, that I've never been crazy about those type of players, because they're one of those players that they're gonna either shoot you in a game or they're gonna shoot you out of the game. That's what he is, man. He's gonna shoot you in or he's gonna shoot you out.
Word.
And the thing is, like, going back to Kimba, why? Matter of fact, they can buy Kimba out today. That's what they really need to do with Kimba. Just go ahead and buy him out. Let him go. Let him go, man, because Kimba Walker can't even score right now. And if he can't score, he's no good to us, because he's definitely not the person that's really gonna pass the ball to nobody.
Yep.
You look at that starting lineup, man. You got 3 out of the 5 players on your team in the starting lineup that want to just pound the ball. Julius, Fournier, and and Kimba, man. This team basketball is supposed to be about ball movement, man. It's not supposed to be all the stagnant stuff we doing. And a coach that's stagnant in his thinking and his approach to the game. CT, answer this. How is it that you got guys on your bench that are your assistants, but you're not getting input from them? What would that tell you about a coach like that?
That's stubbornness, straight out. I mean, what are you paying these people for? And to be honest, I spotted that, Ron. I thought, why Tom was allowed to hire some of his people, but then some other people that he didn't want was hired for him. I'm like, shouldn't you be all the way in? Like, if you're going to give a guy head coaching, shouldn't you let him bring in everybody that he wants, or give him everyone that he needs? There's just too many cooks in the kitchen right now,
And that's why this falls back. Everything falls back and ultimately in Leon Lapp. And I told them guys yesterday, man, people not gonna be seeing me for a while, man. My pain with this thing, man, with this orange and
Oh,
blue runs deep. But I think I'm gonna shut my league pass off after today, man. I think it's a wrap. I'm not watching another Knicks game this season, man. Because at this point, what we watching ain't basketball, and what we watching is the same thing we've been watching all season. And we know that the train wreck is coming at some point. We know it, game in and game out. There's no team in this league I can look at of the 30 of the 29 other teams and say the New York Knicks is definitively better than these other teams. There's not one team that I can look at and I say, we better than that team. To me, we feel like the worst team in the NBA, man.
yeah, we're in talent acquisition, mate. We are so far still to build, Ron. Last season was was a fluke. Not gonna lie, it was a players overachieved. Chemistry was at point. Chemistry carried us to where we went, but we flamed out in the playoffs. That was a true indicator of where the New York Knicks were at, right? We got a little bit greedy and thinking we were closer by signing Fournier, and I mean, how do you miss out on DeRozan as well?
Yeah, and I agree with you. And that's the thing. Like last season, we know is it pushed us ahead of the needle, so to speak. And anytime that you saw, okay, you the 4th seed, you need to go ahead and push your chips in the center and go make moves to bring in guys here that's bona fide guys. And I get it. Everybody, you can't get everybody. But when you got an opportunity to get somebody that have performed in the playoffs, somebody who would have went to some finals if it wasn't for LeBron getting in the way, because DeRozan would have went to a finals if it wasn't for LeBron in the way. That Toronto team with him and Kyle Lowry would have went probably a couple times. You know what I mean? So when I look at things like that, and then you settle for a guy like Evan Fournier who ain't never been nowhere. You settle for Kemba Walker, who was basically everybody in the league know that them knees ain't right. This is really mind boggling, man. It's really mind boggling. But like I said, Leon Rose is cheap. Leon Rose remind me of that dude that'll buy a car and drive that car for 25 years, the car smoking and stuff, and he taking it to the garage and trying to get little minor work done, patchwork done. That's what Leon Rose reminds me of, man. And talking about, this is a good car.
They got
really?
cheap.
The car is smoking and leaking oil, paint fading, and you talking about this is a good car? Come on, man.
Tires worn.
Won't even buy tires. He ain't even buying a whole set of tires, man. He going and buying used tires. That's what Leon Rose is, man. That's what he is. I'm starting to see it for myself, and I hope Mr. Dolan see it. Mr. Dolan, if you're listening, if somebody in the PR department listening, please get these guys up out of here, man. I'm begging you. Please get these guys out of here. Go get a proven guy for that front office. I don't care. Hey, go get Jerry West. Please. Go get a Sam Presti. Go get somebody that know what they're doing and ain't afraid to make moves.
Yep. And we have some updates on RJ Barrett. He's out. So the knives are out for Tibbs right now all over Twitter. That means Cam Reddish may get plenty of minutes if he's still on the team. And with that said, ladies and gents, Mark Berman says, it's shoot around. Tibbs just said Leon will call him if anything gets close in terms of any players getting moved, but I like our guys. I mean, so that tells you, the New York Knicks are trying to plant that seed. Maybe with 40 minutes left, maybe nothing happens outside of a Kemba buyout.
I'm going to tell you what. I saw it in the chat just now. Somebody brought up Dennis Schroeder. I was on Schroeder years ago. I guarantee you Schroeder will be better than any of the point guards on this team right now.
Oh, yeah. That's a fact.
Go get him. He'll play defense, too. And he's a big point guard.
There was talk about Ish Smith for Kemba. Send him back to Charlotte.
I ain't never been really a fan of Ish Smith. I'm not crazy about him.
Yeah, and why is Kemba always smiling? like Vaughn says.
And we trash. I guess he's smiling because he at home. He get to eat some home cooking. You know what I mean? That's all I can think. You know what I mean? Because we sure ain't nothing to smile about.
Yeah, man, he was just cheesing. He's getting paid the 30 mil still. You know, we're paying 8 of that 30. But
I'm gonna tell you what, if they can pull off Dennis Schroeder, I'll be happy. If they can get Dennis Schroeder today, I'll be happy. I'll continue to watch because I know he would affect that front that first line of defense. He would be a harassing point guard up there, making people have to pick their dribble up and things of that nature. I think he's probably one of the more underrated point guards in this league, man. And so much so, I even saw an article where the Lakers were trying to get him back.
yeah, he's serviceable. Serviceable. We need something like that, as a stopgap at least. Right?
Yeah, definitely. And another thing about Schroeder that I know, the guys show up to work. He don't be on sick call.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's very durable.
Let's hope this Miles McBride gets plenty of minutes. There's still plenty of reasons to watch Ron. I think Leon needs to, though, tell Tibbs to start playing these guys. If he flames out at the deadline, then
Hey man, Knicks fans need to boycott the games, man. We don't need to go to no more games, man. Just stop going to the game. Oh man, what's going on with you, L? What's going on, boy?
You think y'all gonna have a family reunion without me?
What's going on, boy?
What's up, my brother? What's up, CT? What's up, Ron?
Man,
I called you. I don't know if you got my message or not.
You had called me?
Yeah.
Okay, I gotta check it. Yeah, man. What's going on with you, man?
Yeah. Nothing. I've been on my phone all day seeing what's going on with these trades, man.
So give us your perspective, man. I ain't had a chance to hear how you feel about this thing. Everything. I'm talking everything. Coach, front office, trade moves, lack of. I want to hear it.
Man, it's bad, man. We looking garbage right now. I ain't gonna front. You remember last year? I was like, if we don't make a move last year, would everybody be okay with it, right? But this year, it was like a move needed to be made. Right now, we still got 40 minutes left. It don't look like a move was going to be. We needed to make some kind of move, Ron. We needed to do something to at least put our team in a position for the future. At least if you cleared up some cap space or you got a pick in return or something. But to walk away here with nothing, like, come on. This is bad. We had it for, and all these teams around us is getting better. We in trouble.
So out of the 30 teams right now, where do you rank the Knicks?
Down at the bottom, right along with the with the Wizards, the Detroit Pistons, the Orlando Magics. Even they probably got better futures than us because they got a lot of young bloods over there. So they probably got a better future than we do.
Yeah, Detroit just picked up somebody today too, and I was like, oh man,
Cleveland.
they just picked up somebody.
Who else? Phoenix just made a trade. They got somebody. Indiana just got somebody from Phoenix just now.
Torrey Craig.
Yeah, I mean,
I think right now we're the worst team in the league, man. That's my opinion. I think we're the worst team in the league right now.
And you know why we can't do deals, gentlemen? I think there's just too many dudes in the office. Like, how many phone calls? You got to consult this dude. Perry's got to consult this guy, Wes.
I agree, man. I agree.
I mean, you need one dude to pull rank, like we talked about, Ron. We got one CEO to say no. Type Tibbs, you need to get with this, otherwise you're out.
I read something this today, right, about the guy from Minnesota that they brought in, and they were saying that the reason why they brought him in is because our guys don't know what they're doing, so they bring him in. This is what they said. They said they thought that Leon Rose and World Wide West was going to be able to do certain things, but because they don't have any front office experience, now it's starting to come back and haunt us, and that's why they went out there and got the guy from Minnesota to help guide the ship.
So what's Scott Perry doing? Because he was supposed to be
I
that
know
guy.
that his name was involved in that too. Scott Perry was like it was Leon Rose, Scott Perry, and World Wide West, and they said it's not working out the way they thought it was going to work out. So that's why they brought the dude in from Minnesota to help guide them. You know, I guess they don't know what they're doing, so he's there to help guide them in the right direction. But like I always tell, like me and Harwell, we talk all the time. So I tell him that World Wide West and Leon Rose supposed to have been they supposed to be talent evaluators. They supposed to be the ones that evaluate the talent and supposed to know who's the next it player, right? Because they were
Mm-hmm.
agents, right? World Wide West supposed to have his ear to the street. You know, he's supposed to hear what the buzz is, and it hasn't panned out. It hasn't panned out. Either they sleeping on the job. I know CT, you had that picture. Who had the picture up there of Leon Rose sleeping? Somebody had the picture of
Oh,
Leon Rose sleeping.
Sim had it. I was laughing up when I saw it.
How does that get out there? Man, hey,
So
Montrezl Harrell just got traded to Charlotte too, so they got a big man.
Montreal Harris just went to Charlotte.
Well, that boy's a beast. He's a load man to have to deal with.
And he don't mind coming off the bench. You mean to tell me we couldn't get a player like that? We couldn't get a player like that to back up Julius or to back up Mitch. Knicks is dropping the ball.
He loves Taj too much.
Yeah, that's another thing. You look at what so L, tell me how you feel about Tibbs.
Yeah, Tibbs. The game has outgrown Tibbs. It has, Ron. It has outgrown. We have watched this with our own eyes, and anybody that watches basketball know that the game has outgrown him. He hasn't evolved. Is he a good defensive coach? Absolutely. But to sit out there and put that same offense out there and to continue to keep trying to run that offense through Julius, something is wrong with you. You're the coach. So you can't say that you want ball movement and you want this, that, and the third, but yet you call Julius' number. And you call his number. We hear you calling his number, right? And the play goes right to him. He holds the ball. But then at the end of the press conference, you says, "Oh, the ball needs to move. The ball needs to move." So why do you keep going to him?
Man.
Yeah, I mean, if the ball need to move, and that's what basketball is all about. You know what I mean? Matter of fact, he need to go back and look at the old Boston Celtics. Go look at Bob Cousy and them guys, man. The ball was moving. You can look at the teams that play good. The ball move, man. Look at Golden State tearing everybody up. The ball don't stick. You need to copy them blueprint, man. But you trying to play. I'm gonna tell you what our team offense remind me of, L. And I say this all the time, man. It looked like a glorified pickup game, man. It looked like a pickup game.
Yep, facts.
And matter of fact, that's disrespectful to the guys who play pickup. Because at least they play hard.
Yeah. I mean, you look at Cleveland, you look at how they move the ball. It's like you just move. If you move the ball, this is your results. This is what it is.
Look at Memphis, how they move the ball, how they all play together.
I was going to talk about that today. They all play together, and they don't play no defense, but they play together, but they don't play no defense, and that's sad that they play together and they don't play no defense, because if they play defense,
hard.
They'll be even better if they play defense. Think about that, Ron. They're the third team in the West, and if they play defense, where they would be at, they play D.
Oh, them boys, hey, that team, they got some individual parts on that team that's scary, man. That team, that's a scary team, and they're long. You know, they kind of remind me of Toronto. They kind of remind me of the Raptors, how everybody on the Raptors team is just long. The only person I think is like Fred VanVleet, probably the smallest player on that team. And then I don't even think he's that small. He's about 6'3", 6'4", somewhere in there.
VanVleet?
Yeah.
He's small, 6'3", something like that.
But 6'3"?
He's 6 foot.
He's 6 foot? Man.
Yep.
Well, that boy's that's another player the Knicks could have had. But your front office want to be cheap. I don't know if you heard me earlier, L. I said Leon Rose is that type of dude, man, that'll buy a car, man, and drive it for 25, 30 years, man, car smoking. He'll take it to the shop and try to get it fixed. And he'll go, he won't even buy tires bad on the car. He won't even go buy a whole set of tires. He's going to go buy some used tires. That's what Leon Rose is, man.
Oh, man.
And I'm predicting James Dolan going to get rid of him, too. The clock is ticking on Leon Rose, man. I'm not pleased with this, man. This 2 years in a row, man. This 2 years in a row. L, we in the same spot we was in last year. Sitting there hoping they make a
with
trade.
a worse Randall, with a worse Julius Randle right now.
A Julius Randle who going back to year one of Julius Randle. Julius Randle looked like he did when we first got him.
Word.
And I don't need no player on this team that can't play in the Garden, but he can play on the road.
He's looking like an all-star on the road right now out west, right? Go figure that.
You bring him back to that Garden though. Not so much.
That's why I said Tibbs is he hasn't. You thought he would evolve, being away from the game and watching the game and going to the Clippers and seeing how they run and going to this team and doing all this, that, and the third. You watch it from the sideline, but then you get into the game. It's almost like he freezes up. It's almost like he that's Leon Rose, boy. Look at him sleeping on the job.
Yeah, man. Shout out to May 4th, man. My man May 4th. I see you in the chat. I see you.
I got to run, fellas. If you still on by the time I get to the crib, I'll come back on because I'm at the job. But I gotta punch out stuff. Well, not punch out, but I gotta check out. So if y'all guys still on,
to see you, boy.
We supposed to come on. Me and Harvey are gonna do a trade. I think around 6:30 or something like that. We're gonna do a special show tonight ourselves as well.
No,
by that time,
I ain't gonna be available. I would have come through, but I ain't gonna be available.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
so
man. Hey, good to see you. I'm gonna have to come jump in though. Jump in with you and Harvey.
Oh yeah,
man.
You should have seen us last night, Ron. Me and Harvey, we was going at it, boy. Last night, we always going at it. That's my bro. We was going at it last night.
Yeah, man. Tell Hector I say what's up when you talk to him too. Him and Harvey.
All right, we'll do. Love y'all guys.
Yeah, man.
Yes, salute.
Worldwide L, you heard me? Money making
Put some thumbs up and subscribe, y'all. Stop playing.
Let's get it tonight. Hey, we have 30 minutes, Ron, before the backlash starts to hit.
Hey, I'm gonna tell you what. I think it's gonna be some problems outside that Garden, man.
Oh,
people gonna be out there with picket signs, man. Leon Rose must go.
It's getting personal on Twitter and whatnot, And
and as a long-suffering Knicks fan, man, that we have been, CT, we deserve better than this, man. And that's the thing. When you got an owner willing to pay the kind of money he's been paying, it's no excuse. It's no excuse. And that's why I'm telling you right now the way I feel, honestly, and I said this last night. I said this yesterday on Freezy Show. And honestly, right now, how I feel, CT, this is the worst front office that the Knicks have had.
Ooh.
And the reason why I say that is when you've had all this stuff at your disposal to be able to make major moves. Yeah, I understand you may not get a player to come here in free agency.
Yep.
But you got enough ammunition to trade. You got enough ammunition. And even that, and when I say that about, I understand all players ain't gonna want to come in, things of that nature. Man, when you spend the right kind of money talk, everybody got a price. Like Ted DiBiase used to say, man, for the $1 million man. Everybody got a price. And sometimes you got to pay, especially when you have not been a good franchise. That's the cost of doing business. You can't continue to win cheap. Not in this league. You're not.
Yep.
Bargain basement shopping.
And,
it's unreal, man, what we're seeing, man.
You know what's making it even more challenging? Because we're the New York Knicks, Ron. Other GMs and things, they don't do us no favors. They know, they know what we're like, and they want to make things as difficult as possible. So you got to overpay sometimes. We can't even get Fred VanVleet to get a meeting with us. You got to have to overpay. So where does that tell you where we're at? We need to start thinking about the draft and just building around the youth organically, because these big fishes and that, gone are those days.
Yeah, man. So my man Drew Licata says he disagrees. Said Steve Mills turned into a disaster. At least Leon traded for D-Rose, Reddish, and has drafted well. Okay, so let me analyze what you just said, right? Steve Mills was the guy who was responsible for getting KP out of here. Thank goodness we didn't keep him with them knees. Thank goodness we didn't keep him. When we got what's the kid back in that trade, that point guard,
Dennis Smith.
When we got him, The guy wasn't trash coming out of Dallas. He became trash with us. You see what I'm saying? So when you look at what they did, they tried to address that point guard position. I give Steve Mills credit for that and moving off of KP. That was great. Now let's look at what Leon did. When I heard when he brought up the point about Derrick Rose, I don't give him no kudos for Derrick Rose trade. Anybody could have pulled off that trade for Derrick Rose. You knew it was going to work because you was putting him back with Tom Thibodeau. That I really don't give him really no plus. I know last year I was like, yeah, I gave him, you know what I mean? Yeah, he did great by getting Derrick Rose. But when you think about it, that was going to work. Now think about that Cam Reddish situation. You give up Kevin Knox and you gave up a first-round pick. And now you talking about trading Cam Reddish. That right there is front office malpractice. You ain't even had Cam Reddish long enough to make a dinner plate, and you ready to move off of the guy. It screams to me of somebody who really don't know what they're doing. And then the compound that you was trying to send him to the Lakers, and you getting back in the deal supposedly Goran Dragic and draft consideration. But I respect your opinion, man. I respect your opinion on that. Steve Mills, we know he made a lot of mistakes there a long time. But I give him credit for trying to get us a point guard. And we had one when we got Dennis Smith initially looking at his numbers coming from Dallas. But when he got here, it is what the Garden do to a lot of players, man. You either the cream rise to the top or it don't rise at all. And more often than not, players that we get that shine elsewhere comes here, they fold. They fold under the bright lights.
We'll say, like, I agree with the only one thing they're doing is drafting well, but not necessarily the right fit at times, you know. Julius Randle, the Obi Toppin thing.
And Drew Licata said, I'm not saying Leon is much better, though.
Yeah. No,
hey, shout out to Drew, man. Shout out to Drew.
When we put more responsibility on Perry too, right? He's the one at the negotiating table.
Yeah, I don't even know what Scott Perry's role is with this team now. I really don't know. Like you said, with all these people in the front office, it's too much. It's too much. It screams of dysfunction, man. This team is dysfunctional, man.
Yep. And now you hire someone else. Did you see that new hiring?
Oh, that guy, the guy that got fired from his last stop because of things that I won't discuss.
Yeah, but he replaced Tibbs.
Yeah. They're saying that he's supposed to be some big time like guru. That's what they're saying. Like he's supposed to be real good at drafting. So is he going to replace Scott Perry at the end of the season? I guess we got to wait and see.
He's got experience, but my question is, what don't we got sold that the current people got experience?
Yeah. And my thing is, if you make a move like that, why did you extend Scott Perry? This move should have been done at the beginning of the season. You bring this guy in about midway into the season.
Yeah.
I don't understand the thinking behind this, man.
I think it was a Dolan thing, like and I get this. There's new sources. Lakers have offered Russell Westbrook and draft compensation to New York for Kemba, Burks, Noel, and Reddish. So LeBron getting desperate right now, ladies and gents. Lakers
I wouldn't trade Reddish. Reddish would be out of that deal. Everybody else they asked for, they could have. Them people that they asked in that draft. I mean, in that trade proposition, I'm not putting Reddish in that deal.
Yep. We're just taking Lakers junk, basically, you know.
So you said they was giving us Russell Westbrook and who else? Just Russell Westbrook?
And draft compensation. So I don't know.
Nah,
what level?
That ain't enough, man. I wouldn't make that deal. Because we doing you a major favor by getting Russell Westbrook off your hands.
Well, what's this? Dinwiddie. KP's getting traded. KP's getting traded to Washington for Dinwiddie. Yeah, Kristaps back in the 80s.
Wow. Well, The Wizards just got better than us.
And that may mean Jalen Brunson comes on down to us.
Yeah, that might mean they're probably about to trade for Jalen Brunson. If they get Brunson, I'll keep watching. Because I've started to come around on Mr. Brunson. Boy, I tell you, it's bad, CTV up here. We at the midnight hour, man. We late. The clock about to strike 12 on that Cinderella.
Oh, I'm about
Leon
to turn
Rose, the clock is ticking, boy. You better hurry up and make a move.
Yet I'm all suited up,
Yeah, you suited and booted, man. Look like, hey, this is your captain speaking. Look like you ready to fly somebody up out of here.
I'm ready to give Kemba, this is your itinerary. Here are your papers. Gate number 36. Oh man. Hey, watch out for the next 20 because these moves are going to start dropping.
Oh
yeah. But hey, KP, hey, does that admit now some regret on their part?
Yeah, that's buyer's remorse big time. They're trading in that used car. But hey, shout out to Drew, man. Hey, I'm with you too. I'm with you. You know, if Brunson comes, I'll be satisfied. That'll keep me watching. Because at least I know a couple of things about him. He can get it. He can put the ball in the hoop and he can play defense. He kind of remind me of Fred Van Vliet. Very similar players.
Yep.
You know what I mean? It's all about being objective, man. But I'm gonna tell you what. Even if we get Brunson, I ain't letting the gas off of Leon Rose. We got to keep his feet. No. We got to hold him accountable, man. We got to hold him accountable. I mean, and my thing is too, man. You ain't even speak. You speak to the fan base once since you came here. What kind of thing is that? No State of the Union address. The state of the Knicks ain't. You got to keep trotting Tom out of there to do all your talking, and Tom done ran out of answers. He up there now telling me you got to talk to Leon.
He's clinging to relationships that he knows, and that's why the Brunson thing and the Miles Turner. If I had to make a prediction in the next 20 minutes, those guys look like the most likely now. The fact that Dallas got Dinwiddie, what are they going to do with Brunson now? They can't pay that.
Man. Leon Rose gonna get fly to parts unknown, man. He keep this up.
James Dolan, he's still around. Like, he doesn't disappear. He's just in the background.
Yep, and I gotta give him a lot of credit because he been very quiet. But that man ain't paying all this money. Matter of fact, our coaching staff was one of the most highest paid coaching staff in the league. And look at this product we got out here, man.
Facts, yeah. We got 20 minutes, and Drew says Luka about to leave.
Luka?
Well, they flew the guy that he apparently didn't get along with, KP, out of there. So, and Davis Bertans is being traded to Dallas as well. So they got
more shooting.
Yeah, they got Dinwiddie and Bertans.
So I'm gonna tell you, I like Dinwiddie, man. Some people don't like him because he used to talk trash about the Knicks, but hey, that's what happens when you're in a rivalry and you ain't been playing good. I expect him to talk trash. Because I'm gonna tell you like this, I would have been talking trash too. I'm telling you right now, if it's a team that when I was balling, hey, I would talk trash to them. You know what I mean? That's just part of the game, man. That's basketball. I don't hold no ill will toward that guy, man. But he is a baller. I can give him credit. Got to give him his credit.
Yeah, I appreciate it, Drew. Yeah, keep it coming. But does this mean the Knicks officially won the KP trade? Yeah,
absolutely.
Can that be definitive now?
Absolutely.
I mean, people hanging on us, Ron, that we didn't make anything of the cap space, but we didn't sign KP to that monster deal. That's
the
traded.
Thing. That's the thing, man. That's the thing. We didn't blunder the money. We didn't spend it either. Only thing the money is doing right now is just sitting in the bank.
Yep. In my opinion on this regime is going to change, Ron, because I've always said I'll evaluate when things happen. If another trade deadline go by in the next 20 minutes and they're sitting on their hands again, then I'm all for a shake-up with everything. This Tibbs thing, there's reports that they're not aligned. Tibbs and Leon aren't even aligned at the moment.
That's something to say when this is the guy you hired. As the front office guy, this is the coach you hired, and y'all not in lockstep. That's a problem. That's a lot. That's a major problem.
Do you
They're
think
supposed to be like hand in glove?
Yeah, absolutely. Do you think this keeps Bradley Beal happy in Washington, getting him KP now?
I tell you what, money? I can't. The last time I think I remember Washington having a talent, the level of KP, I would have to say Chris Webber. And Webber was better than KP, but KP would be the second best talent that franchise have had in my time of watching.
Yeah. Hey, check this out, Ron. Tim Legler just said he's the unicorn because you hardly ever see him.
Yeah, wasn't he giving us a lot of heat with that move when we got rid of KP? I think Tim Legler gave us a lot of heat about that move.
Okay. Yeah. Drew says there you think something we're going to give up Randall for Brunson.
I would. Oh, yeah. You know what? Now that's major. I ain't thought about that. Think about this, the angle of it. Randall is from Dallas.
Yep.
And if I'm not mistaken, I think Dallas had interest in him at one time. With KP gone, now you got that void at the power forward position.
Yep, absolutely.
I'm going to tell you, I would love to see Randall gone for this reason. For this major reason. We got to figure out what we got in Obi, man. And as long as Randall is here, Obi is not going to get the kind of playing time. And my biggest fear with Obi is because he shows us flashes. I mean, it seemed like just about every game, he's showing you something different offensively that you hadn't seen from him. You know the high wire act that he is. But the thing is this guy is getting closer to the time when you're going to have to make a decision to extend him or not. And we have not seen enough from him. That's another reason why Julius Randle has to go. And really, the reason why when they got Obi should have started from day one. Obi should have started from day one, regardless, and take your lumps because you know they were coming. But allow the guy to develop, man. And we won't be sitting here, Obi about to be in year 3, and we still don't know who he is.
Yeah, we waste rookie contracts, absolutely.
We waste them, man, and they go elsewhere, and they find who they are. Because I'm still predicting Kevin Knox going to be in this league because he can shoot. There's a premium on shooting.
Yep. And like Khalid says, we should have traded for KP. Wouldn't it be funny if they traded Randall back to get KP back? That'd be a front office doing circles. Man. And I agree with May 4th, man. He said Obi got to get 20 plus touches to evolve. Yeah, the guy got to get a lot of touches, man. And the thing is, you could tell that Tibbs don't even know what he's doing with Obi. A guy with that talent, you got him sitting in the corner trying to shoot 3-pointers. You taking away his offensive ability, which is to run and get out of space, but you want to just sit him in a corner, not even playing to his strength. It's mind-boggling, man. And that's why Tibbs got to go. Tibbs got to go, man. He's a total loss in my book. Just go to State Farm, go see Chris Paul and Jake from State Farm, and go get you a brand new car, i.e. a brand new coach. Move Tibbs up out of here, and get somebody get a young coach with an innovative mind, man, offensive mind. Go down there to Golden State. Go try to take something off Golden State, man. You know what I mean? Go find somebody that's an innovative mind. Yep. And Another reason we won the trade, apparently Mavericks were actively exploring to move Tim Hardaway's money or KP's money, which
Wow.
are the two players we both gave them.
Wow.
So it's like, so Tim Hardaway could have been had, but that
I'm gonna tell you so far, my happiest, point of the season, because we could talk about the negatives, but my happiest point, man, of what I've seen is the development of Quentin Grimes, man.
Oh yeah,
Quentin Grimes is my bright spot of this season, man. So what's your bright spot, CP?
yeah, the draft, absolutely. I think Rokas is going to be something that we may see in the future. We don't, we can't really make no bold predictions yet, but he's a young, promising guard playing well. And Jericho Sims, he was a steal.
Yeah, I can't forget about Sims too. He's another guy that needs to be playing. I love what we did in the draft, because all them guys let me know they can contribute in this league, man. I'm happy about that. Oh wow, Mayforth, I didn't know that. Mayforth said Atkinson is on the Warriors. Yeah, go get him. Get him, because he was already a good coach with being able to coach young players. But now you don't have the opportunity to be over there with Steve Kerr and learn even more offensively. Yeah, go get Kenny Atkinson. And if you can't get Kenny Atkinson, man, go get Mark Jackson, man.
Yeah,
we know he can develop young players.
We missed out on Woody. Yeah, he could relate to young players as well.
That's another guy. Them three guys, man, would be a good pick as a coach. But I think for me, number one would be Atkinson, because one thing he can develop is point guards. Because if I'm not mistaken, didn't he have a hand in Jeremy Lin?
Oh yeah, he did.
He had a hand in Jeremy Lin too when he was here with us.
Yep, real
as
talk.
An assistant coach.
Yes, salute D.
And what has been our biggest problem? Point guard.
We need to address that ASAP, right? So we've got 10 more minutes. What's your prediction, Ron? Do you think John Wall is an option? Do you think Schroeder? Do you think
I'm gonna tell you right now, Brunson? I'll be happy if we get Schroeder, if we get John Wall or Brunson. I'll be happy. But if we come out of this thing at 0, y'all ain't gonna see me on no more platforms for the rest of the season, man. I'm going on strike. I'm going on strike until Leon Rose or Tom Thibodeau is gone, or both.
Well, no, we need you to do one more debrief to come back on the weekend or next week, and then draft night. We'll be back at it again. Draft night, full of optimism, with a glare in our eye.
Thank goodness. Drew Licata says, breaking news. Knicks Lakers trade fell flat. Cam is safe.
Yeah, they saw the backlash with that happening.
Mm-hmm.
We got no use for Goran Dragic. What are we going to do? Waive him? Like, you're better off just playing. Brian Windhorst now reports. Yeah, the Knicks and Lakers were close on a deal yesterday, but the trade fell apart. So,
Cam might have been the sticking point.
Yep, because apparently we were going to get what's his name? That Miami Heat, Kendrick Nunn.
I do like Kendrick Nunn. I must admit, I like his game.
Yep. But I'm pulling up the moves as they happen live. So, we're counting down. It's tick-tock.
9 minutes, boy. It's gonna be some angry Knicks fan tonight.
Oh, I'm fuming right now already.
And I'm one of them.
Yep. Yeah, but salute to the chat. You guys are keeping us going, rocking out.
Man, hey CT, these guys pull the wool over our eyes again, man. 2 years in a row. 2 years in a row. You can't make this up.
You know what I'm going to call these dudes now? Dumb and Dumber.
Oh, that's a good one, CT. That's a good one, man.
What are they doing? Know what I mean?
Hey,
you got
man,
4 people
I'm
in the
gonna tell you
war room.
what. Phil Jackson wasn't this bad. I'm gonna tell you why Phil Jackson wasn't this bad. At least Phil had a plan. At least
Yep.
Phil had a plan. If you remember, Phil was part of the reason why we started having our draft picks again and money.
He took the occasional nap, but he
He
woke up.
took a nap too on the subway, but these guys, man, these guys are the conductor that them fell asleep on the subway train. Pilot and co-pilot.
Wilson brings up a great point. Cannot wait to the next MSG games chance.
What's that?
The chance at the next MSG game.
Oh, it's
from
gonna
the
be
crowd.
Fire Leon. They got a good ring to it. Fire Leon. Fire World West.
Fire Tibbs.
Fire Tibbs. Yeah, you gonna have all that. Matter of fact, they need to have the plane taking off sound too with it. Somebody need to tap into the PA system, man, and have an airplane flying when they make them champs.
Oh man, I like what Jarvis said, but Ingles was traded already. We missed out on that, on salary dump and Burks.
And isn't Joe Ingles hurt too?
Yeah, he's out for the season.
Wow, that tells you something.
Yep, but it was expiring money, and we could have got off of Fournier, we could have got off of Burks.
I'm telling you, man, I'm convinced there was a home for them guys, man. I guarantee you, it's about what teams wanted, some kind of draft pick compensation for taking them guys off their hand, and Leon's sitting on the groceries. He's sitting on the groceries, and they're gonna go stale.
Yeah, let me ask you guys too. Derrick Rose, he's a forgotten one. Would you have tried to trade Derrick Rose off for a first rounder?
I would have moved Derrick Rose for the simple fact, at this point in Derrick Rose's career, man, I would hate to see Derrick Rose go out without a ring. Just to do him a solid, because this team ain't going nowhere, and you wasted what little precious time Derrick Rose got left, man, at this point in his career. And I appreciate Derrick Rose because I know he's loyal to Tibbs. I know he's very loyal to Tibbs, man. But just to sometimes you gotta take things out of people's hand, man. And I would bring him in that office if I was the front office guys and be like, hey, we appreciated everything that you've done. You wore the orange and blue the right way. You competed. You gave everything you had. And we just going in a different direction. You know what I mean? And that's what I would do. Just out of respect for Derrick Rose, man, and what he's meant to this league. You're talking the youngest league MVP in the history of this thing. And for that guy to have to be subjected to this, nah, man. That's a bad look. I would move him to a contender. Matter of fact, Derrick Rose, truth be told, would be a good fit. Would be a good fit for the Lakers. Because he's somebody who could play off the ball off LeBron.
Yep. I agree, man. Derrick Rose has no use for this team. Right? He's just going to take minutes from Deuce and that for the next 25 games.
My man said, I think it was, Mayfor said some people name it Tibbsdale.
Yeah.
Oh, man, y'all funny, man. Yeah.
We keep getting these retreads,
Yeah, man.
I mean, we should have hired Kenny Atkinson, in my opinion, because he's shown he can rebuild a young roster.
Yeah, and I'm gonna tell you what else, CT, what the day is showing me, what this trade deadline is showing me. Julius Randle may have more influence on this team than we thought.
Oh, man, that's a disaster waiting to happen.
Julius Randle may have more influence than I thought on this team.
Yep. Yeah, that's scary. No accountability.
Well, don't look like nothing's gonna change in the next 4 minutes.
Yep.
I don't think nothing's gonna change in the next 4 minutes. So, hey, after I watch this game tonight, if I don't see changes in that, hey, I'm on the first thing smoking, man, to next season. Yep. I'll be turning off. This will be the first time that I can ever recall not watching a Knicks game since Patrick Ewing been on this team. All the sorry years that we've had, I've watched it. But I'm at my breaking point, man. I'm at my breaking point. And nobody, no Knicks fans should be paying to go see that product in the Garden, man. That's the only time you're gonna get their attention. If people stop showing up to that Garden, that'll get their attention in the right way to get the right people in here, man. You know what I mean? Because
Yep.
we know it's gonna sell regardless. Between tourists coming in and people just loving the Knicks as we do, people gonna just watch it. But until that happens, ain't nothing gonna change, man. I'm convinced. I'm convinced. Ain't nothing gonna change, man.
Yeah, I mean, if they don't come out playing the youth after this now, if they start saying, "Oh, we'll push for the play-in," and all this kind of junk we've heard over and over.
And the play-in ain't the playoffs. That ain't the playoffs.
Yep. Yep. I mean, we need you to come back though and do one more, go all in on them before you shut it down.
You know what, CT? Hey, out of respect for you, man, and you know what I mean. I know what you stand for. I'll definitely do one more. I'm gonna let the dust settle, and once it's settled and everything gets put out there of what didn't happen, what was proposed, I think we about to find out a lot of stuff here in the next 24 to 48 hours of what this team could have done and what they didn't do.
Yep.
I think we about to find out a lot.
Oh, heck
And
of a lot.
I got a feeling this really gonna set us off.
Yep, absolutely. I think James Dolan's not going to be happy. He might have been the one behind that tire to say, "Hey, you guys can't get it done. I fired Phil Jackson. You guys will be next."
Yeah. If you can fire arguably the greatest coach in basketball, a novice executive who hadn't done nothing but make blunders after blunders after blunders.
No, we can't keep doing this. We've got Alec Burks, Fournier. They told us these contracts were movable, Ron. They told us that, they were flexible.
Yeah, and I think they're removable. I think they didn't want to attach a draft pick to them. I think that's what's going to tell. But you know what though? Even with that being said, they probably weren't. The thing is I think when we signed these guys, the Knicks outbidded themselves. We overpaid to bring these guys back. I mean, and think about it, these guys weren't no A-level starters that we brought back. Noel, all these guys were role players, man. Noel, Alex Burks, that we brought back. Why it seemed like it was one more person that we re-signed in the offseason?
Rose, Burks, Noel.
Yeah, at this point, yeah, even Derrick Rose. At this point in it, those guys are role players, man.
Taj.
Yeah, role players. We didn't sign one guy that was a bona fide starter. All these guys, Leon Rose re-signed was role players who had been in the league a long time. I don't know what he was thinking that, their upside is going to be better to this team than another team. These guys are role players. And that's what we spent our money on. Let that sink in. Man, fly Leon Rose up out of here, man. I'm about to get really, really ticked off, man. 2 years in a row, the same thing. We sitting here on our hands.
I'm about to hand out paperwork right now.
The first ticket, first class is Leon Rose. Because I want him sitting the closest to the door to get up out of here. Have him sitting straight up close to that door so we can get him up out of here.
Tickets right now, and we got a game tonight. That's going to be,
And they're going to get smashed tonight.
Oh, it's trash, P nice. Trash front office right now.
30 point loss tonight.
Yep. I can't believe this again. Third trade deadline in a row. Well, I mean, I know we did the D Rose and the Cam Reddish moves, but they weren't really a deadline move, We're supposed to be wheeling and dealing.
So Kemba Walker got waived, Von Allen said.
No, that's nothing official yet.
It's
Nothing.
not official.
I think he's just foreshadowing. But some people saying Schroeder may get bought out because
I tell you what, they need to go get Schroeder. They need to go get him ASAP. Go get him.
Yep, because he's being traded to the Houston Rockets as part of the Daniel Tice deal. So, what use did the Houston Rockets have for Schroeder?
He don't fit their timeline. He don't, because that's a young team. He don't fit their timeline.
Yeah, McBride will be a star. Chat, give us your, trade deadline's passed now. Give us your initial raw thoughts of this front office, this regime. There was a joke. Vaughn says Khalid fire the front office. Waiting for nothing. Like a kid on Christmas waking up to coal.
Man, you can't make this up, man. You cannot make this up, man. I just we need to get some people in here who know what they're doing, man. Because it's obvious, man. It's 2 years in a row. 2 years in a row. It don't need to be no third year. James Dolan, please step in. Please get these guys clean house. Completely clean house.
Well, NS Freedom was part of the deal too.
Only person I want you to keep is my man Walt Perrin. Walt Perrin and the cap guy from Cleveland. You keep them two guys. Everybody else must go.
Yep. And the Lakers have decided not to make any moves too. They're in a downward spiral.
Well, in their defense, they just won a championship 2 years, so they, you know what I mean. They tapped out the minute they went and got Anthony Davis. That was pretty much all their flexibility went out the window.
Yep. This is straight embarrassing for me. Given my role.
We get an F at the trade deadline. Most disappointing team all season and most disappointing team at the trade deadline, yep. The New York Knicks.
And you know what these repercussions are? That they're going to try to keep playing Burks and Fournier and Noel to boost their value up for the
end of the season.
The summer, right? That's just a waste of the rest of this season.
Yeah, man. Any Knicks fans shouldn't watch the rest of this season, man. This should be a wrap, man. I'm calling for it, man. Don't watch any more games at the Garden. Boycott the Garden.
Yep. Word.
Boycott the Garden. Do not go back to another game. And until you affect the bottom line, change will not ever happen. It will never happen, rather.
Yeah, no one wanted the Lakers or Knicks players. Facts. No one's doing us no favors at the moment. And all these fans with optimism in this front office, that's going to change now, right? People had a lot of hope in these young, these front office dudes that they got connections and.
Yeah, they can blame Leon Rose. Leon Rose just messed up the chance that another agent will become a front office guy. He ruined it. Bob Myers set it up real nicely. Bob Myers gave him a shot and he messed it up. Bob Myers and Rob Pelinka did a good job. Gave him a shot to get his job, get his spot, and now he's messed it up for the next person behind him. Because I doubt anybody else, they're going to take a shot on anybody else come in the role of being from an agent to being a front office exec. And this is a cautionary tale. Because really, let's just be real about this thing, CT. Leon Rose was not qualified to be no front office exec. We getting exactly what we deserve. That guy was not qualified, man.
Facts. He's just going to leverage his connections, and I bet you we'll probably get Brunson. He probably got a phone call say, "Hey, Brunson's going to come in the summer. Don't do nothing. He's going to come."
And see, but that's the thing. Do you even have confidence that these guys are going to make the deal? That's the thing. What I've seen in 2 years from these guys, man, in relation to free agency, they ain't been able to close no deals in free agency.
Yep. I got zero confidence now.
So what's to make me think that they're gonna all of a sudden grow a brain in that regards and start batting 100?
Yep. they're going to have to prove something major, and that's why I think they brought in this new dude. I'm not going to lie, because
I'm gonna tell you what. If Leon brought him in, Leon might have brought in his replacement. That's
yep.
sinking because the guy was the president over there. Leon might have just brought in his replacement, or conspiracy theorists would want to say Mr. Dolan hired him, and if that's the case, definitely it's something to watch going forward.
And I just posted, this officially starts a new clock ticking, right? A clock ticking on Tom Thibodeau, a clock ticking on Leon Rose. The clock's ticking on them now. The honeymoon is over, right? We've had 2 seasons with these dudes now.
Absolutely, it's over.
Yep. Yeah, the clock's starting to tick, ladies and gents. The chat's been on fire, and Will says, no, there is no Brunson. We don't even have cap space for him at the point. Yeah, that's another good point. We're supposed to clear up some cap space, Will. Obviously, we can waive Kemba Walker, but he still has 1 more year left. So these dudes need to get busy in the off
CT, I
season.
enjoyed it, man. Enjoyed hanging out with you, man. Everybody in the chat, man. This feel like old times seeing L come through. Hey, if you haven't subscribed to CT Live, the streets are buzzing. Hey, make sure you hit that button, man. Go ahead and subscribe to the man channel and go hit that merch store too. You know what I mean? Go get your merch. Hey, CT, I'll holler at you in about a week, man.
Yep. Let's do it again. Peace, Ron. Salute. Yeah, ladies and gents. Hey, I'm actually in shock still. I expected a deal to happen, and yeah, we might hear about some back end, late deal trickling through. I'm going to keep refreshing, but give me your thoughts. Adrian Wojnarowski now confirms no deals for Knicks. Source tells ESPN. We have Mark Berman saying, according to a source, Kemba Walker is safe for now, as the Knicks didn't make a trade. Knicks have 1 roster spot still open because they didn't sign Ryan Arcidiacono and can be a player in the buyout market now because we have 1 more a spot. So that's a joke. Twitter's going off right now. Twitter's exploding. Salute to you guys, the chat, keeping this real. Yep, Drew, Woj, no deals for us. I cannot believe it. And Geraldine, yep, the honeymoon is officially over. Facts, absolutely now. This regime is on the clock. This starts a brand new clock, in my opinion. Right before there was no clock ticking, but right now there's a clock ticking on this front office. They obviously made that move yesterday, or unconfirmed reports that they're bringing in that new Timberwolves experienced executive, Rosas. That's going to be interesting, right? So where do we pivot to now, ladies and gents? We've got the draft. We'll be doing heaps of draft coverage in the back end of this season. We've got some guests coming on tomorrow. Keep it on lock. We're going to be doing a thorough, debrief, breakdown of this trade deadline situation and what happened, what didn't happen, with guests tomorrow. But where do we go from here? We've got the summer looming, and the New York Knicks won't have any cap space. So what are the possibilities? A sign and trade, possibly to Dallas for Jalen Brunson. A sign and trade will, more will be revealed. In the next coming days, I guess. Unconfirmed reports that the Lakers deal fell through. I don't really know what was involved with that Lakers deal. Maybe Leon or someone just put their foot down and said, Cam Reddish is staying just because of the backlash, and they wanted to get a better look at Cam Reddish, possibly. Miles Turner's still out there. We know Indiana need to pivot, right? That is an elephant in the room still. Indiana are retooling, rebuilding. Malcolm Brogdon, there's reports he'll be traded in the summer as well. So whilst I'm still very, very angry at this front office, but I do see, what they might have been thinking in terms of the summer, and seeing some trades and some other moves that just may be easier to be made right in this off season, especially in the draft night. Everyone's spitting facts here as well. The Eastern Conference has gotten a lot better. They're getting younger. They're coming up, and we're in the same position as we were last year. Hoping, just hope after hope. each and every trade period, trade deadline, draft night, off season. This front office it's been the same story with them, right? They gave us Kemba Walker, they gave us Evan Fournier, they re-signed all these vets. You know, they didn't even come out and talk about it. They didn't even come out and say, this is our plan. We wanted to keep these dudes and try to make a run and move them on, or whatever. They just look more and more foolish by the day with this situation, right? We're being sold, false hope as well. And like Will says, nope, this can has been kicked completely down the road. The road has ended. No one's coming now or later. Yep. Rest in peace, Leon. Draft night. We'll be doing some focus on bringing in some draft experts, some analytics guys as well. We'll be talking about the draft prospects as well. But we got 26 more games or so to watch. I'm not in the most excited mood to watch these games right now with some of these players still on the team. Right, I want Kemba Walker to get waived to free up some spots. Cam Reddish needs to play ASAP. Right, we kept him. I'm glad for that. That was the one positive from today so far. Sad day, Frank. And Drew, Ennis Freedom was waived. It's sad that probably my biggest joy was seeing Kristaps Porzingis get traded again. Right, that was probably the only highlight of this trade period. Of course, Philly, like we touched on early, Philly and Brooklyn got the big blockbuster deal done. Two teams in our division that are in contention right now, competing for chips, for the next few seasons, right? So we're nowhere near where we need to be. We need to have both eyes now on the future right now. I don't want to hear no quotes from Tom Thibodeau spitting that we can make runs or we could turn this thing around and that. That's just a lame duck talking on his last a man talking on his last legs right now, because not completely his fault, but the front office just didn't get it done, just didn't give him the pieces that were needed. Right, Nerlens Noel been injured all season, right? No value in that contract. They forced Alec Burks into heavy minutes, which exposed his trade value. Right, Alec Burks off that bench role, would have looked nice. D Rose, not mad at the contract, but the length of it, in terms of his availability now, the pressure on D Rose every night, and of course Kemba Walker, Evan Fournier, right? Two of the worst free agent signings in recent history, right? Where does that stack up for you? The Evan Fournier, Kemba Walker free agent signings, they've been a complete bust. Kemba Walker, the only saving grace is that it's one more year after this and we can just waive it right now without consequence. We still have an open roster spot. Like Ron said, my biggest positive this season has been Quentin Grimes, which has been sad at the moment, and obviously Cam Reddish trade. If he can make something of himself in New York with this roster spot, hopefully clearing up, but he needs to get minutes, ASAP. I saw that, Drew, as well. RJ is limping around in a walking boot. He's out for tonight. But Frank, that's the question on everyone's mouth as well. What will happen with the rotation and the minutes now? Does Cam Reddish get an opportunity? We have to now. We have to pivot. Whether if the front office just rejected some deals and said we're staying pat, or everyone else rejected our deals, then so be it. We need to now absolutely pivot and blow this thing up. Retool, blow it up. I don't want to see playing vets heavy minutes to push for the play-in, whatever. That's fruitless right now. With this roster, that's fruitless. Let's prioritize the youth now. In Deuce McBride, Sims, Grimes, Cam Reddish, RJ. And like Jarvis says, we didn't have any expiring contracts. We need to clear some of this money, and we haven't been able to. Right. What'll even make me sick is if we try to play the buyout market and try to sign another vet, to push for the play-in, right? That'll be disgusting if that ends up happening. But RJ Barrett's out tonight. sprained ankle reports, not too serious. I know he's in a walking boot, but I don't think it's too serious. Touch wood, fingers crossed. I think RJ will be out for probably a week. They'll nurse that, and like Frank says, it's Cam time, and Tibbs was a straight clown for keeping him in the game. Will that could have turned out to be a lot more severe than what it needed to be, right? Just a guy that just can't accept losing, even though when the game's already lost, right? You need to pivot and focus on the next game, right? When the game's already lost, I know you're a player a coach that likes to compete and that, but that's just stupidity, right? You got to be smarter than that, and that's where this front office is accountable. The leadership from the top to bottom, like Ron was saying, right? Leon Rose, if the coach is doing some clown stuff, the front office needs to jump in and correct that, right? They're the ones running this organization, right? They're management. Tom Thibodeau is coach. He's not management, right? You have a management for a reason, right? Right now they're straight failing. They're failing us right now. The season was lost a while back, right? We need to pivot now and rescue something from this season. And there has been some positives from this season. Obviously, Mitchell Robinson, we keep him now. He's playing well. Maybe they make a long-term commitment to Mitchell Robinson, and that could have been a nice story from this season with how things can turn out. Quentin Grimes, Cam Reddish, if he has a future in New York, that will end up being a nice trade for us, considering what we gave up. But yeah, there's a lot of ways that they can continue to increase on some of these positives, and then there's ways they can make this negative even worse, right? It's up to them right now. But Woj confirmed no deals for the Knicks, sources tell. Tomorrow, keep it on lock. Like I said, we'll be doing a show with Mark Berman coming on. We'll be doing a complete debrief, a complete recap of this trade deadline, and find out what Mark's been hearing and what happened with this deadline. He's already reported, obviously, there's too many cooks in the kitchen. So tomorrow's going to be real nice. It's going to be real interesting. I'll schedule the show so you guys know what's up. It'll be after 3 p.m. I'm not sure on the exact time yet, but we'll be on later in the afternoon, and we'll be doing this recap debrief on all things this trade deadline and what's next for the New York Knicks, right? What's next for this club? There's going to be a lot of fire coming through, right? I can't believe there's a game tonight, and I can't believe that no moves was made even. They were telling us that there was movable contracts, and things like that, right? So yeah, I'm completely shocked and frustrated, and especially if Kemba Walker stays, if he stays and he's prepared to be that locker room dude, and be on the bench, then I hope, that they continue just to see that out, and let him stick around on the bench and not play. But I'm not for him in the rotation, at all. But hey, you guys have a blessed rest of your day. Appreciate you rocking with us for this trade deadline. I'm in shock still, but we'll recover, we'll recoup, and we'll be back at it tomorrow. And I'll see you then. Peace.